The quiet, picturesque landscapes of New Mexico were once the serene backdrop for the lives of two Hollywood legends, Gene Hackman and his wife, Betsy Arakawa. Their deaths sent shockwaves through the entertainment industry, igniting a firestorm of speculation and intrigue. What began as a tragic loss quickly morphed into a complex puzzle filled with unanswered questions, unsettling coincidences, and dark secrets. Was their demise simply a tragic accident, or was there a sinister truth lurking beneath the surface? Join us as we delve into the chilling details surrounding their mysterious deaths, exploring the clues that leave us questioning everything we thought we knew. On a cold morning in February, the tranquil life of Gene Hackman and Betsy Arakawa came to an abrupt and heart-wrenching end. The couple had chosen to retreat from the glitz and glamour of Hollywood, opting instead for a quiet life in the New Mexico wilderness, far from the prying eyes of the media and the relentless pace of their former lives. They had built a sanctuary in the serene landscapes, where they could enjoy nature and each other's company without the distractions of fame. However, this peaceful existence was shattered when authorities received a distressing call regarding their deaths. When the police arrived at their log cabin, they were unprepared for the shocking scene that awaited them. Inside, the bodies of both Gene and Betsy were discovered, lifeless and still. Initial reports suggested that Gene had succumbed to heart disease, a condition he had been battling for some time. Betsy, on the other hand, was reported to have fallen victim to a rare and deadly virus known as hantavirus, which is often transmitted through contact with rodent droppings. The public was left in disbelief. How could two beloved figures, who had seemingly chosen a peaceful existence away from the chaos of Hollywood, be taken so suddenly and under such tragic circumstances? As news of their deaths spread like wildfire, Hollywood reacted with an outpouring of grief. Colleagues, friends, and fans expressed their sorrow, sharing memories and tributes to the couple. Yet, beneath the surface of condolences, there was an unsettling sense of unease. Questions began to emerge about the circumstances surrounding their deaths. Was it truly a natural tragedy, or was something more sinister lurking in the shadows? The investigation into their deaths revealed a series of inconsistencies that only deepened the mystery. While the official reports cited health issues as the cause of death, there were whispers of foul play among friends and neighbors. Many expressed their doubts, noting that Hackman had been active and alert in the weeks leading up to his death, contradicting claims of severe Alzheimer's disease that had been suggested in various reports. He had been seen out and about, engaging with friends, and even discussing projects he was passionate about. The stark contrast between his apparent vitality and the narrative of decline raised eyebrows and fueled speculation. What really happened in that cabin? Was it merely a tragic coincidence that both Gene and Betsy fell ill at the same time, or was there a darker truth at play? The answers seemed to lie just beyond reach, shrouded in darkness and uncertainty. Friends and family members began to dig deeper, searching for clues that might explain the inexplicable. The idyllic life they had crafted together now seemed like a facade, hiding secrets that were waiting to be uncovered. As investigators combed through the couple's belongings and spoke to those closest to them, the picture grew increasingly murky. Reports of their recent activities revealed that they had been planning a trip to visit friends, a sign that they were not as isolated as previously thought. The couple had even hosted a small gathering just days before their deaths, where they appeared happy and engaged. This further complicated the narrative of decline and raised questions about the validity of the health concerns that had been cited. The investigation into their deaths became a media sensation, with tabloids and news outlets clamoring for details. The public's fascination with the couple's lives, combined with the shocking nature of their deaths, led to a frenzy of speculation. Some suggested that the couple had been targeted due to their status, while others believed it was simply a tragic turn of fate. Regardless of the theories, one thing was clear. The mystery surrounding Gene Hackman and Betsy Arakawa's deaths was far from over, and the truth was waiting to be uncovered, buried beneath layers of grief, confusion, and unanswered questions. As investigators delved deeper into the case of Gene Hackman and Betsy Arakawa, they uncovered a timeline that raised even more perplexing questions. Gene Hackman, a celebrated actor renowned for his powerful performances in film, had seemingly vanished from the public eye in the years leading up to his untimely death. He and Betsy had made a conscious decision to choose a life away from the relentless spotlight of Hollywood, seeking solace and tranquility in the New Mexico wilderness. However, this choice only added to the intrigue surrounding their final days. The timeline revealed that Betsy passed away first on February 18th, followed by Jean just days later on February 24th. Yet, the circumstances of their deaths painted a picture fraught with contradictions and unsettling details. Preliminary reports indicated that Jean had been disoriented due to Alzheimer's disease, a condition that had purportedly led him to withdraw from public life. Friends and family, however, insisted that he had been lucid and engaged in the weeks before his death, still driving himself to the store and even working on a book that he was passionate about. This disparity raised significant questions about the accuracy of the medical assessments being reported. One of the most pressing questions that emerged was, why did no one hear from Jean during the week following Betsy's death? How could a man with such a storied career and a loving partner simply vanish into silence? The absence of emergency calls, texts, or any attempts to seek help only added layers to the mystery. Was he truly unaware of his surroundings, lost in the fog of his condition, or was there something more sinister at play that prevented him from reaching out? The rare disease that claimed Betsy's life, hantavirus, was also shrouded in mystery. Hantavirus is typically associated with high-risk environments, particularly those with significant rodent infestations. Yet, their home was well-maintained, with no signs of rodent activity or contamination. How could Betsy, who had lived in such a controlled and seemingly safe environment, fall victim to such a rare and deadly illness? This contradiction prompted the police to suspect that the truth was far more complicated than anyone realized. As investigators began to piece together the events leading up to the couple's deaths, they discovered that Betsy had been feeling unwell in the days prior to her passing. Friends recalled her mentioning flu-like symptoms, but they attributed it to a common virus circulating in the area. However, the suddenness of her decline and subsequent death raised alarms for those who knew her. Why did she not seek medical attention sooner? Were there underlying health issues that had gone unnoticed? In the wake of Betsy's death, Jean's behavior became increasingly concerning. Reports indicated that he had become withdrawn and reclusive, but many who interacted with him insisted he had shown no signs of deteriorating mental health. Instead, they described him as vibrant and engaged, raising further questions about the narrative of decline that had been painted in the media. Friends wondered if there was a deeper psychological toll from losing his partner, one that might have driven him into isolation. The investigation also turned to the couple's living conditions. Their cabin, while rustic and charming, was isolated from immediate help. How did they manage their health concerns in such a remote location? Were there any signs of recent visitors or unusual activity around the property that might hint at a more sinister presence? Neighbors reported seeing strange vehicles parked nearby in the days leading up to the deaths, but no one could identify the occupants. As the investigation unfolded, the media frenzy surrounding the case only intensified. Speculation ran rampant, with theories ranging from tragic accidents to more nefarious plots. Some suggested that the couple had been victims of a targeted attack, while others feared that the isolation of their lifestyle had contributed to their untimely deaths. The public's fascination with their lives, combined with the shocking nature of their deaths, led to a whirlwind of theories that seemed to multiply with each passing day. Ultimately, the unanswered questions surrounding Jean Hackman and Betsy Arakawa's deaths left a cloud of uncertainty hanging over their legacy. The truth remained elusive, buried beneath layers of grief, confusion, and the complexities of human relationships. As investigators continued their work, the hope was that the answers would eventually emerge, shedding light on the tragic circumstances that had brought such beloved figures to an untimely end. In the days following the tragic deaths of Jean Hackman and Betsy Arakawa, their home stood eerily silent, a stark contrast to the chaos that had unfolded within its walls. Nestled in the serene landscape of New Mexico, the tranquility of their surroundings belied the turmoil that had enveloped their lives. Friends and family, who had grown accustomed to regular communication with the couple, reported growing concerns as days passed without a word from either of them. This alarming silence prompted a call to the police, leading to the discovery of a scene that would launch a deeply unsettling investigation. Despite being a celebrated Hollywood icon, Gene Hackman had chosen to retreat from the public eye, seeking a peaceful existence away from the relentless pressures of fame and scrutiny. The couple had embraced a life of privacy, but this silence morphed into a haunting presence after their deaths. Investigators, upon arriving at the residence, noted that there were no signs of forced entry. This observation led them to ponder whether Gene and Betsy had been alone during their final days together, or if there were others who had entered their sanctuary unnoticed. The absence of emergency calls or any attempts to reach out for help was particularly perplexing. How could a man of Hackman's stature, who had navigated the intense pressures of Hollywood, suddenly find himself in such isolation? As the police began piecing together the timeline of events leading up to their deaths, the oppressive silence of the house left them grappling with more questions than answers. Upon examining the scene, investigators discovered that there were no signs of struggle or disturbance. Everything appeared meticulously in its place, from the neatly arranged furniture to the untouched personal items that filled the home. Yet, the complete lack of communication from the couple raised suspicions. Had they truly been alone, or was there someone else present in the house during those critical days? The police continued to probe deeper, determined to uncover the truth hidden within the walls of the silent house. As the investigation progressed, the house itself became a character in the unfolding drama. The stillness within its rooms echoed the unresolved tension and unanswered questions that lingered in the air. Investigators meticulously documented every detail, searching for any clue that might shed light on the couple's final moments. They examined the couple's belongings, looking for anything that might indicate their state of mind or any signs of distress. The lack of forced entry suggested that if foul play was involved, it might have been someone known to them, someone who could easily have gained access without raising suspicion. This theory prompted the police to consider the couple's social circle, examining relationships with friends, acquaintances, and even distant relatives. Were there any unresolved conflicts or hidden tensions that might have contributed to their tragic end? Moreover, the police were particularly interested in the couple's lifestyle choices. Their decision to live in relative seclusion was a significant factor in the investigation. Had this isolation contributed to their vulnerability? The tranquil setting, once a refuge, now seemed to cloak deeper mysteries. Neighbors reported seeing unusual vehicles parked near the property in the days leading up to the deaths, but no one could identify the occupants. This revelation added another layer of complexity to the investigation, raising questions about who might have been watching or visiting the couple during their final days. As the days turned into weeks, the investigation into the silent house continued, with authorities determined to unravel the mystery surrounding Gene and Betsy's deaths. The house, once a symbol of peace and privacy, now stood as a monument to unanswered questions and the tragic end of two lives intertwined by love and loss. Each room echoed with the memories of the couple, and investigators hoped that, within its walls, they would find the answers that could bring closure to a story marked by silence and sorrow. One of the most shocking discoveries during the police investigation was made when they searched the home for clues. In a locked closet, they found Zena, the couple's beloved dog, lifeless and alone. The sight of the small creature, confined without food or water, sent shockwaves through the investigation team. How could a cherished pet end up locked away in such a cruel manner while her owners lay lifeless just a few feet away? Zena's death raised a multitude of troubling questions. Known for her close bond with Betsy, Zena had been more than just a pet. She was a cherished companion. The circumstances surrounding her confinement were deeply concerning. Why was she locked in a closet? Who would have done such a thing? In stark contrast, the couple's other two dogs, Bear and Nikita, were discovered alive but visibly shaken, exhibiting signs of distress as if they had witnessed something horrific. The police began to investigate the implications of Zena's tragic death. Could it be a mere coincidence? Or was it possible that someone had intentionally harmed the dog as part of a more sinister plan? The reactions of Bear and Nikita were particularly telling. They cowered in fear, avoiding human contact, which suggested that they had experienced something traumatic in the days leading up to the couple's untimely deaths. As investigators pieced together the timeline, they uncovered that Zena had recently undergone surgery. Betsy, known for her deep affection for animals, had been particularly attentive to Zena's health and recovery. Yet, instead of recuperating in a warm, loving environment, Zina had been confined to a small cage inside a closet. This alarming revelation raised serious questions about the care provided to the dog and hinted at the potential involvement of others in the couple's tragic fate. The discovery of Zina's body not only highlighted the couple's unfortunate circumstances, but also added a layer of complexity to the investigation. Was Zina's confinement a reflection of a larger issue within the household? Were there underlying tensions or conflicts that had escalated to the point where even a beloved pet could be neglected in such a manner? Investigators began to delve deeper into the couple's lives, examining their relationships with friends, neighbors, and anyone who might have visited their home in the days leading up to the tragedy. The treatment of Zina became a focal point in understanding the dynamics at play. The fear exhibited by Bear and Nikita suggested that something truly horrific had transpired within the walls of the house, prompting investigators to consider all possibilities, including the potential for foul play. As the investigation progressed, the fate of Zina became emblematic of the larger mystery surrounding Jean and Betsy's deaths. Each clue led to more questions, and the tragic end of a beloved pet only deepened the sense of urgency to uncover the truth. The police were determined to find answers, not only for the couple, but also for the innocent lives that had been caught in the web of this tragic story. As the investigation into Jean and Betsy's deaths progressed, police turned their attention to the couple's cell phones. The complete absence of communication from both individuals in the days leading up to their tragic demise was puzzling. There were no emergency calls, no texts sent, just an eerie silence that seemed to envelop their lives, raising numerous questions about what had transpired during that time. Betsy's last known communication occurred on February 11th, just days before her death. In her final text to a friend, she expressed feeling unwell, but after that, her phone fell silent. This sudden cessation of communication from someone who had previously been active and engaged in her social life alarmed investigators. What had happened to her in those final days? Had she tried to reach out for help, only to be met with an unsettling silence? Jean's phone activity, or lack thereof, during the week following Betsy's death was equally concerning. If he had indeed been suffering from Alzheimer's, how could he have failed to call for assistance or reach out to friends? Those who knew him insisted that he had been lucid enough to engage with the world around him, which contradicted the notion of his disorientation. This inconsistency only deepened the mystery. Was he truly confused, or was there something more sinister at play? As investigators delved deeper into the couple's digital footprints, they began to suspect that someone may have tampered with their phones. The absence of communication suggested a deliberate effort to conceal the truth. The possibility of foul play loomed large, leading investigators to consider the implications of such a scenario. Who had access to their phones? What secrets might be hidden within those devices? The police meticulously examined both phones for any signs of tampering or unusual activity. They sought to uncover deleted messages, call logs, or any evidence that could shed light on the couple's final days. As they analyzed the data, they found inconsistencies that hinted at interference, raising further questions about who might have wanted to keep Jean and Betsy from reaching out for help. Moreover, the lack of communication extended beyond just the couple's phones. It also reflected a broader pattern of isolation. Friends and family noted that they had not heard from either Jean or Betsy in a concerning manner, which was out of character for them. This isolation, coupled with the peculiar circumstances surrounding their deaths, painted a grim picture that investigators were determined to unravel. In the midst of this digital investigation, the mystery of the couple's cell phones became a pivotal element in the case. Each unanswered call and unreturned message added another layer to the enigma, compelling investigators to dig deeper into the couple's lives and relationships. The search for answers intensified as they sought to uncover the truth behind the silence that had enveloped Jean and Betsy in their final days. The investigation took a chilling turn when police uncovered the circumstances surrounding Gene Hackman's body. He was found in a locked room, his lifeless form lying motionless on the floor. The scene was unsettling. There were no signs of struggle, no forced entry, just a haunting stillness that enveloped the room and left investigators grappling with the implications of what they had discovered. The locked room itself presented a perplexing puzzle that seemed to defy explanation. How had Hackman ended up there? The front door was securely locked from the inside, and all the windows were tightly closed, creating an airtight scenario that raised numerous questions. Security cameras surrounding the property revealed no signs of anyone entering or leaving the house during the critical days leading up to his death. The absence of any disturbances suggested that he had been alone in the room, yet the circumstances of his death raised immediate suspicions. Was it possible that someone had manipulated the scene to make it appear as though Hackman had suffered a natural accident? Investigators began to explore the unsettling idea that his fall may not have been an accident at all, but rather a carefully orchestrated event. The details surrounding his body were particularly telling. He showed no signs of having attempted to get up, and his walking stick lay neatly beside him, positioned as if it had been placed there deliberately. This arrangement raised further doubts about the nature of his demise. As investigators meticulously examined the scene, they noted the absence of any cries for help or indications that anyone else had been present. How could a man of Hackman's stature, a person known for his strength and resilience, simply fall without making a sound? The questions multiplied, each one compounding the mystery that surrounded the locked room. The investigators scrutinized every detail, looking for clues that could unravel the enigma. They analyzed the angles of the room, the positioning of furniture, and even the air quality, seeking any evidence that might suggest foul play. The eerie silence of the room was almost deafening, and it seemed to hold secrets that were begging to be uncovered. Adding to the complexity of the situation, the investigators considered the psychological aspects of the case. Did Hackman know something that someone else wanted to keep hidden? Could there have been a motive behind his death that extended beyond mere accident? Each theory they entertained opened new avenues of inquiry, yet none provided a clear answer. As they continued their investigation, the locked room became a focal point of the case, embodying the tension between what was known and what remained shrouded in mystery. With each passing day, the urgency to uncover the truth grew stronger, as investigators sought to peel back the layers of deception that may have been woven into the very fabric of Hackman's final moments. The locked room was not just a physical space. It was a symbol of the complex web of relationships, secrets, and motives that lay at the heart of this chilling mystery. As the investigation unfolded, it became increasingly evident that the deaths of Gene Hackman and Betsy Arakawa were not mere tragic accidents. Rather, they were intertwined within a larger, more sinister puzzle that demanded scrutiny. The police found themselves ensnared in a web of unanswered questions and unsettling coincidences that suggested the specter of foul play loomed ominously over the case. A forensic examination of Xena, the couple's beloved dog, revealed troubling details that hinted at a darker truth lurking beneath the surface. Was it conceivable that Xena had been poisoned or harmed in some insidious manner? The implications of the dog's death suggested that someone may have intentionally set a chain of events into motion, leading to the tragic outcomes for both the couple and their cherished pet. This revelation cast a shadow over the investigation, as it indicated that the threat could have originated from someone close to them. As investigators diligently pieced together the timeline of events, they uncovered significant gaps that raised further suspicions. Notably, why had Betsy's phone gone silent after February 11th? Had she stumbled upon something that placed her in imminent danger? These questions prompted the police to consider the unsettling possibility that Betsy might have been aware of a looming threat before her untimely demise. This line of inquiry led them to scrutinize the motives of those closest to the couple, as they sought to understand the dynamics of their relationships and any potential enmities that may have existed. The deeper the investigators dug, the more intricate and convoluted the case became. The pieces of the puzzle refused to fit together neatly, leaving the police with an overwhelming number of questions and few clear answers. Was it possible that Gene and Betsy had been deliberately targeted, or were they merely victims of a cruel twist of fate? The investigation continued to unfold, yet the elusive truth remained just out of reach, tantalizingly close, yet frustratingly unattainable. In this labyrinth of mystery, each revelation only served to deepen the intrigue. The investigators found themselves grappling with a sense of urgency, knowing that the key to unraveling this enigma lay hidden within the shadows of the past. The intertwined fates of Gene, Betsy, and Xena painted a grim picture, one that demanded resolution and justice. As they pressed on, the police remained determined to uncover the truth, even as the final loop of this complex case continued to elude them. As the investigation into the deaths of Gene Hackman and Betsy Arakawa unfolds, the mystery deepens. What began as a tragic loss has transformed into a chilling narrative filled with unanswered questions and unsettling possibilities. Were they victims of a cruel fate, or is there a sinister truth waiting to be uncovered? The quiet landscapes of New Mexico now bear witness to a story that transcends the boundaries of life and death. The police remain committed to uncovering the truth, determined to bring clarity to a case that has captivated the public's imagination. As we reflect on the lives of Gene and Betsy, we are left with a haunting question. Do we really want to know the truth? The answer may hold the key to understanding the darkness that enveloped their final days. The case remains open, the investigation ongoing, and the mystery of Gene Hackman and Betsy Arakawa continues to linger in the shadows, waiting for the light of truth to break through.